I don't know if there's anybody on. I scheduled this for 3:30 and somehow it's coming up at 4:30. I don't know why. But originally it was 3:30. I don't know if there's anybody on here or not. Hello. Say hello if you're on. Anybody on here? Hello, hello, hello. Anybody on? Hello. LOLT, how are you? Rebecca, how are you? How's things? Guys, I don't know what happened. I scheduled this for 3:30, but it's coming up for 4:30 Irish time, and I don't know why. I went and I checked on it earlier on a computer because I did this on my phone, and it said that the start time was 2:30. So I just changed that to 3:30, and now it's coming up at 4:30. So I should have left it at the 2:30, and maybe it's... I did it on the Irish time zone, so I don't understand it. But anyway, this YouTube thing is kind of strange. It's hard to work out what's going on. But anyway, we're here, folks, at the Dublin Docklands. Say hello to me in the chat, folks, so I know you're all there. The live chat. Rebecca, how you doing? Kathy, how are you? Natalie, how are you? Good to see us all, folks. I guess there's going to be a lot of people missing this tour because, as I say, I had it scheduled for 3:30. For somehow, it's now showing 4:30. So I'm an hour early, or I'm correct because this is the time that I did schedule for. Welcome everybody here to the Dublin Docklands, the IFSC, the International Financial Services Centre here in Dublin. Welcome everybody, hope you're all doing well. There's a big crowd going in here to EPIC. EPIC is the Irish Emigration Museum here in Dublin, and it is one of the great museums, not just here in Dublin, but in the world. It's absolutely sensational. Tells the story, as I said before, of Irish emigration. EPIC, as you can see the sign right there. I know there's loads of people in between it and so forth, but it stands for Every Person is Connected. A few people say hello there, and I'm missing the chat. Goes in and out all the time. I don't know what's going on. Nan, how are you? Elise is on as well. Hi, Elise. Good to see you. So this is one of the leading tourist attractions. It's known as the Irish Emigration Museum. It opened in 2015, and it was awarded the leading tourist attraction in 2019, 2020, 2021 at the World Travel Awards, beating out at such places as the Buckingham Palace, the Eiffel Tower, and of course the Rome Colosseum. As I said before, it tells the story of Irish emigration. It was founded by Neville Isdell from County Down. He was the former CEO of Coca-Cola Company. And here you will discover why 10 million people left Ireland to explore the world, or to actually the impact that they had on the world. And there's a lot of interactive touch screens here as well. This is in the Czech building. The Czech building is an old warehouse that used to store, wine and spirits and tobacco and what have you. And it's over 200 years old, this warehouse right here at the IFSC, or the Dublin Docklands. But as I say, this is one of the great museums, as I say, in Dublin. Not only Dublin, but the world. And as I say, it tells the story of Irish emigration. As I say, over 10 million people have immigrated from this country through the centuries. Many of those were during the time of the Irish famine, the Great Famine. I'm sure you've probably heard about that if you've been on this tour before, or if you've been on Hazel's tour. She did the whole tour of the famine. And before the famine, there was 8 million people living in Ireland. After the famine, there was only 5 million people. So there was 7 million people, 2 million people emigrated, and 1 million people died of starvation. And the population here has never really recovered since. Now, these people that left during famine years was between 1845 and 1852, so 7 years. And during this period, there was a potato blight on the potato crop. And the potato crop was, for most people, or for a lot of people in Ireland, especially poor tenant farmers, it was their only source of income and their only source of nourishment. It's all that they grew on their farms. As I said, they just had a little plot of land, and that's what they grew, was potato. So when they had this blight or disease on the potato, people either starved or they emigrated. And they went on what was known as coffin ships because of the amount of casualties there was on the way over in the North Atlantic on their way to America and Canada. But this is one of these ships right here. It's called the Jeannie Johnson. And out of all the ships that crossed the Atlantic, every single one of them had many, many casualties, dying from, as I say, starvation, fever, all kinds of different diseases, because these ships were overcrowded, lots and lots of people in them, and they were all on the lower deck of the ships. They couldn't get out up to the upper deck to get some fresh air. They were unsanitary and they were way overcrowded, as I said before. But there was one particular ship that had 0 casualties. It was actually a ship that was called the Jeannie Johnson. It was built in 1847 in Quebec. If we have any Canadians on here, it was built in Quebec in 1847. And then it was bought by a merchant, John Donovan, from Tralee in County Kerry. And it sailed 16 times from Tralee to New York, Quebec and Baltimore between 1845 and 1855. And in all those journeys across the Atlantic during the famine years, there was zero casualties. Nobody died. And the reason for it was that this man was a very moral kind of gentleman that owned the ship. So he didn't overcrowd the ship like every other ship. He also had a doctor on board. He had a very good... What's happened, Matthew? He also had a very good... I just met a friend. I lost my train of thought. I just saw a friend of me there. He touched me on the arm. But also he had a very good ship's captain who used to let the people up onto the upper deck and explore or get some fresh air, if you like. There also was good food on board as well. Now here is a replica of this very ship right here. It's called the Jeannie Johnson, as I said before. 16 times went across North Atlantic during the famine years, not one casualty. As I say, these ships were known as coffin ships because of the amount of casualty they had. Except for this one, as I say, a very moral owner who cared about his passengers, didn't overcrowd it and let them up on the lower deck. It's a museum today, so this is a replica of the very ship, what it looked like. It's a tall ship, as you can see, one of the tall ships. And it also is a tour. You can go on a tour here. And it tells the story of the Irish famine and this boat and about all its journeys across the North Atlantic. Let me see if there's any chat in here, folks. Hello, Dave. Just caught this. Great to see you. All right, Nan from Wyoming. Great to see you. I don't see any other chat, folks. So I'm not sure if everybody's still here or what the story is, because the chat isn't really coming up. I got to touch a button every time. So the Jeannie Johnson. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit rusty because it's so long since I've done a virtual tour. I've been working every day, 7 days a week, really, for the last 2 months or so, doing walking tours, in-person tours, coach tours and what have you. Some of them down the country and some of them in the Dublin area, Wicklow, Kildare, place like that. So I might be a little bit rusty, but say hello please in the chat, because I cannot see if people are still on here or if they abandoned ship, if you like. Oh my God. Okay, Elise, I've missed your virtual tours, but glad to see you're busy with in-person. Thank you, Elise. You've missed them, yeah, because I haven't been doing them, Elise. And of course, Elise, we met last this time last year, no, last August it was, when we were down in Kerry. We did the Ring of Kerry tour with Patrick Toomey on his coach. It was fabulous, absolutely brilliant. Of course, Leslie was there as well, and Finn, and we had a couple of, also we had Paula, myself and Hazel. Myself and Hazel did a bunch of trips down there as well. That was the Jeannie Johnson, yes, Rebecca, the Jeannie Johnson. Kathy, that was my great grandfather, was from Ireland and was a shipbuilder, but was in New Brunswick. Very good, Kathy. I guess that a lot of parts of Canada would have been, especially the maritime provinces, there would have been a lot of shipbuilding. There would have been a lot of boats going across, ships going across the Atlantic, you know, to the UK and to Ireland and so forth at that period. So there would have been a lot. Now this area that I'm in here right now is called the Dublin Docklands, and it's known for its banking institutions. So we have a very low corporate tax rate here. So all the leading banks of the world are all here, situated here in the Dublin Docklands, or the IFSC as it's also known, the International Financial Services Centre. You got State Street Bank, you got the Bank of America, Citibank, you name the biggest bank in the world, and it's right here in this area of the Dublin Docklands. Also the big accounting firms like PwC, all the big insurance companies, they're all around here on this side of the dock, the Dublin Docklands. And on the other side of the river, this is the River Liffey, by the way, if you haven't been on one of my tours before. The River Liffey runs through the centre of Dublin City, separates North Dublin from South Dublin. And this, I'm on the north side right now, but I say if you go over to the south side of the Liffey here, you'll see all the big tech companies. And we'll visit Facebook and Google a little bit later. Google is actually in Grand Canal Dock, or Grand Canal Square. We'll end up the tour around there as well. So what you're looking at here, folks, is a very spectacular bridge. And this is the Samuel Beckett Bridge, or the Harp Bridge, if you like, in the shape of the Irish national symbol, the Irish national emblem of the harp. And it was designed by the great Santiago Calatrava, one of the great architects of the world. Many buildings in New York City and the New York skyline, you'll see that he designed. Also the Olympic grounds there in Athens, the Olympic Stadium in Athens, I mean, just to mention a few. He also built the James Joyce Bridge further up the Liffey behind me. Samuel Beckett, of course, is named after one of the great playwrights, one of Ireland's greatest ever writers. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1969, and he was a graduate of Trinity College. You may have seen my tours of Trinity College. He was also an outstanding sportsman as well. One of the great cricketers that Trinity College ever had. He really was fabulous. He was also part of, he lived for most of his life, his adult life in France, in Paris. He was part of the resistance movement during the Second World War, where he helped out the Jewish people during that period. A little bit further down from here, we have the port. We have the ferry port, and we also have the cargo port. I'll just show you that in a minute when we're going to go over this bridge right here. If you want to continue the chat, folks, do so, because as I said, I want to make sure you're still on here. Chat hidden, it says. Why is that? If someone could say something in the chat there to make sure that you're still on here, because it's telling me the chat is hidden for some reason. It's getting very breezy here. It's not such a great day here in Dublin for this time of year. It was a lot nicer about half an hour ago. There is rain clouds in the sky. It'll probably start raining. I think it's about to start raining just now. The other bridge over there is also named after a great Irish playwright, and his name was I got a mental block here. What's the matter with me? Sean O'Casey. known for such great classics as The Plough and the Stars and Juno and the Paycock. So that bridge is named after him. So two bridges side by side, more or less, named after two great Irish playwrights. The cargo port is right down there. I wish there was a zoom feature in there. If someone could say something in the chat so I can make sure that everybody's here, just say hello or something so I know they're still there. So further down the Liffey River there, you have the cargo port and you also have the ferry port. 1/3 of Ireland's cargo leaves from, or sorry, 3/3 of Ireland's, 3/4 of Ireland's cargo leaves from that port. And of course you get the ferries that go to such places as Holyhead in Wales and Liverpool, of course, in Ireland. Liverpool in England, in the UK. And they say one time there were so many Irish going there to Liverpool that they called Liverpool the capital of Ireland. Right up until probably the 1950s or 1960s even. Over the couple of centuries you just had thousands and thousands of people leaving Ireland from this port and making their way to Liverpool, Manchester, and other parts of the UK, of course. Over 6 million people in the UK claim Irish heritage. That's how many people emigrated there from ports like this over the centuries. As I run across the road here, here's another view of this beautiful bridge, as I say, the Hart Bridge. And I don't know why the chat is not coming in. There you go, okay. Still here and loving it. Okay, great stuff, Rebecca, thank you. Enjoying the tour, thank you. Thank you, Natalie. It's coming in very, very late for me, the chat. Cynthia, thank you. Hello, how are you? So I just crossed the bridge from the north side of the River Liffey over to the south side. And we got a boat cruise going on right there. And if you look at this building that you see right here, folks, this is the Dublin Convention Centre. It was just built in 2009, and it's obviously famous for its glass frontage, as you can see. And it lights up at night time when it's dark in the Irish tricolour. Sometimes it's all green, sometimes it's the Irish flag colour, and then has been the Ukraine flag that had it there for a while as well. All kinds of different lighting, so it reflects. You can have the reflection of the River Liffey of the flag as well. It's really, really cool. It's an 8,000 seater convention centre, and it is the only carbon neutral convention centre in the world. So it's carbon neutral. This is one of the great pubs here around this area, and of course it's known as the Ferryman because the ferry is just literally down the street. So all the ferry workers would have frequented this pub and still do. It's also got accommodation. I think there's 12 rooms in here as well. There's 3 bars all told in this location. It really is a fabulous pub, and one of the most famous pubs on this side of the city for sure. So you can get boat rides leaving from here, private charter boats going out to such places as Holt, Dunleary, Killiney, and Holt is a beautiful village, fishing village out in North Dublin. And Dunleary is another fishing village and has like 3 yacht clubs in it out on the south side of the city. So you can go north or you go south from here, or you can get a ferry right from Holt to Dunleary, and then Dunleary to Holt and what have you. Really is fantastic. Well worth it if you ever come here, is to go on a private charter boat right here. Goes out to Bull Island as well. You got the South Bull and the North Bull, and then you got Bull Island in between the two. This is one of the great restaurants, as I say, floating restaurants here in Dublin. It's called Killarney. I've been there many a night. I run a meet-up group here. Many nights we've ended up here for a few drinks, something to eat. But of course you always have to be careful that you don't drink too much, Because you don't want to go overboard, do you? Swim yourself to safety then. But no, it is great night, especially on a fine evening, fine night. Really is spectacular. The Killarney, really fantastic. So check out this, folks. This contraption right here that you see in front of me. This is known as the diving bell. And the diving bell, it's 90 tons in weight. 6 men could fit in it. And it was used to flatten the seabed and to build the quay wall right here and down by the port as well. It was used from 1871 right up until 1958. And it was restored in place here in 2015. The diving bell. There you go. Now, and you guys want to hear a story? Say yay. Say yes if you want to hear a story, folks, because I've got a story coming on me. I can feel a story coming on. I think the chat is delayed. Yes, okay, Cynthia. Cynthia wants to hear a story. Okay, just Cynthia. That's it. Anybody else? Okay. I think it must be delayed. All right, folks. So the story is about this man right here. And his name is Admiral William Brown. So this is the story, folks. This is a great story. Definitely a story of success. Admiral William Brown was born in a place called Foxford, a small town, small village. Well, bigger than a village, a small town, if you like, in County Mayo on the west coast of Ireland. When he was 10 years old, himself and his father left Foxford in County Mayo and made their way to Philadelphia. And this was in the 1700s, the late 1700s. And 2 years later, his father died from a fever, which left poor William orphaned at 12 years old. So he's walking down by the Delaware River shortly after his father died, and he meets a ship's captain, the captain of a merchant ship. And he told the captain his story about his father dying, and he's now an orphan. And the captain offered him a job as a cabin boy on the ship, on this merchant ship. So he stayed on this ship for over 20 years. And by the time he's like only in his early 30s, 32 years old, he makes ship's captain. And he travels the world in this merchant ship. One time he's in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and the Argentinian Navy offered him a job. And once again, he accepts it and makes his way to the very, very top, Admiral of the fleet of the Argentine Navy. And whilst the leader of the Argentine Navy, he defeats the Spanish fleet for independence, or the Spanish fleet in the Sea War for independence for Argentina. He also defeats Brazil when he's outnumbered 37 ships to 11 and somehow still managed to win that war against the Brazilians for Argentina. So he was some hero. He was hauled into the streets, head over people's shoulders and so forth, and given a hero's welcome when the war was over. He left a huge legacy in Argentina. There's something like 200 schools named after him, 1,000 streets named after him. There's even a rugby match that's played between Ireland and Argentina every couple of years, and they play for the Admiral William Brown Cup. So this guy was a huge success story, from rags to riches, if you like, and one of the most famous people in the history of Argentina. Now, believe this or believe it or not, because I just was flabbergasted when I heard that. Obviously, there's like 43 million Americans claim Irish heritage. There's about 5 million Canadians, about 3 million Australians claiming Irish heritage. But Argentina, the people there, 1 million people from Argentina claim they're of Irish heritage. 1 million in South America. And it would have been attributed to this man right here, because lots of Irish would have gone after his great success. They would have travelled over to Argentina. So 1 million Argentinians claim Irish heritage. Quite incredible. What do you think, folks? What do you think? What an interesting story. Thanks, Cynthia. It's so late with this. Yes, says Diane. Yeah. So all of these, I'm just seeing them for the first time right now. All of these comments, all these chats. Yes, a very interesting story, Cynthia, for sure. Actually, the street right here is called Admiral, between the buildings right here is called Admiral William Brown Way. Guillermo, they call him. I guess Guillermo means William in Spanish. So they called him Guillermo, they didn't call him William. Now we are now going to make our way, folks. I'll give you another look. Oh, there's the Viking Splash tour. This is a fantastic tour. Have a look at it coming over the bridge right there, folks. The Viking Splash tour. They're actually on their way into the canal. We're going now to the Grand Canal. We might even see them when we get up there. But they're going into the water because this is a bus slash boat. So they actually go into the water. It's one of the great tours. They go around all over Viking Dublin. It's just a fabulous tour. I got to run across the road. Don't want to miss this light. If I do, we'll wait another 5 minutes. We're making our way here onto Cardiff Lane, named after Matthew Cardiff, who ran a shipyard right here in the around the mid 1800s, named after him. You'll see this. I just got to show you this Viking Splash tour again. They're wearing their Viking helmets and everything. So they go all around Viking Dublin, the oldest part of the city, and they end up in the Grand Canal. They're very loud. It's one of the great fun tours. Say hello, folks. Say hello to the world. Hello. You're on camera. Alrighty. You'll see this hotel over here on Cardiff Lane. It's called the Clayton Hotel. They are Ireland's largest hoteliers, with 34 hotels throughout the country. Some of them are called the Maldrons, but most of them are called the Clayton Hotels, owned by the Delata Group. And they bought up hotels during the last financial crash. They bought up distressed hotels around 2009, 2010, when nobody had any money after the crash, the financial crash. The financial crash was like 2007, 2008, but lots of businesses just crashed. So they took advantage and bought up loads of these hotels for pennies on the dollar, if you like. But they did then build their own hotels after that as well. As I say, I think they do have a few hotels in the UK as well, but they're very big. We're now going into Grand Canal Square here, folks, and a little bit after that we'll go up to Grand Canal Dock. It's very impressive. You're going to really like this. First of all, though, before we go into Grand Canal Square, I want to show you cool helmets. Yes, indeed. So we're coming here to, folks, have a look at the name of this street, Misery Lane. Misery Lane. And the reason why it's called Misery Lane is because during medieval times there was a leper hospital right here, a makeshift leper hospital. But also people that were executed or hung back in the day, they moved their bodies after them being hung. They were hung on Gallows Row, which is now Bagot Street, probably about half a kilometre from here. But they had their rotten remains hung up here as a deterrent for any future criminals. The stink must have been unbelievable. This right here was the Facebook headquarters right here, can you believe it, on Misery Lane. Now, wonder they moved. They moved to a huge big complex up on Balls Bridge, probably about 2 kilometres from here, and a mile and a half from here. Meta. So this huge big building is idle. It's only been idle for about a few months because they just literally moved a couple of months ago. Facebook, I guess they didn't like the name of the street they were on, Misery Lane. Who could blame them? This is a fabulous hotel you see right here, called the Market Hotel. Looks like checkers. What do you call that game? Checkers? Chessboard. Not chessboard. Checkers board. 5-star hotel, wonderful hotel, great food. They also have a rooftop bar here as well. So we're going into Grand Canal Square right here. Starting to sniffle here a little bit. It's really, I guess it's warm enough, but it's a little bit windy as well at the same time. I have my microphone in, so hopefully you're not getting too much of a wind. So have a look at these red poles right here. And you got some greenery around here as well. So this basically is an urban forest, if you like, designed by Martha Schwartz, originally from Philadelphia. And she has designed these urban forests throughout the world, in various cities throughout the world. These poles that you see right here, they represent the trees in the forest, and then you see the greenery with the grass or whatever in the forests, and these illuminate at night time, so they light up. So it really is spectacular at night time to come here at the Grand Canal Square to see it all lit up. It's pretty cool. This right here, straight ahead of you, is the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, and this is the largest theatre in all of Dublin, in all of Ireland for that fact, and in all of Ireland for that matter, and it holds 2,111 people. So it holds more people, and it's larger than any of the theatres on Broadway, New York. The largest of the ones on Broadway, New York is the Gershwin Theatre, which holds 1,900 people. So this one holds more people. We're here at the Grand Canal Dock. So the Grand Canal right here, this is the very end of the Grand Canal. It starts in Shannon, County Clare. It's an estuary of the River Shannon. It's Ireland's largest canal. It's 84 miles or 132 kilometres long. It ends right here at the Grand Canal Square. It's really neat. Got some lovely penthouses right here. If you look at the one to the left, at the top of that, some famous people have lived there in the penthouse. The first one right there to the left, The Edge from the great band U2, he owned that one. And the second one the penthouse was owned by Colin Farrell at one time, the great Irish actor. And the third one, the penthouse, was owned by, what was her first name? Georgia Salpa. She was an Irish-Greek supermodel. Georgia Salpa was her name. She owned that. None of them own them anymore. They moved on. There's usually a lot of water sports, but it's pretty windy out here today. But you'll have a lot of people skiing, water skiing here, using the electric cables, not being powered by a boat, but by electric cables. And they jump and everything. You'll see also a lot of parasailing and kayaking, all that kind of stuff. Really is a lot of action around here. Today, extremely quiet. Maybe it's the weather. There's no sunshine out today, folks. You can see it's all very cloudy, unfortunately. We had unbelievable weather here for the month of May and for the first 2 weeks of June. And it really hasn't been the same since. And we didn't get any rain in that period. So we nearly went for about 4 or 5 weeks without any rain whatsoever. Beautiful sunshine, lovely and warm, about 25 degrees, which is 23, 25 degrees Celsius, which is about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It was just beautiful temperatures. But it's gone downhill since. The month of July has been terrible. It's been raining nearly every single day. And today is no exception, although we have not had the rain yet. This is fresh. This is our answer to, what do you call it? Whole Foods in the US and Canada. So everything here is fresh. Upmarket grocery store, if you like. So you notice in Dublin on these tours that you see very few high rises. This would be one of the tallest that you'll see in Dublin. Something to do with the zoning laws, the air laws, or whatever it might be. We just don't build high here. So people still have a good view of everything. Maybe that's a good thing. So we are now going over to Google Dock, or Silicon Dock, as we call it because when I cross this road over here, the buildings that you'll see on the left hand side once I cross this road over there all belong to Google. Barrow Street is the name of the street that all these buildings are on, and the whole entire street, Barrow Street, is occupied by Google buildings. I can't cross the road, folks. It's red, unfortunately. Gonna have to wait a while now. Unless I chance it and run, I'm gonna do it. There you go, I had to do it. I'll be waiting 10 minutes of it. Because it's the main road, Pearse Street right there. Named after the great Irish patriot, rebel, Padraig Pearse. Pearse Street, one of the longest streets in Dublin. So the Irish economy here, folks, is doing very, very well. I showed you modern Dublin today. Obviously, you'll see some old buildings in between some of the modern buildings. As you can see, the old building here of Boland's Mills dates back to 1801. All of these buildings were all part of Boland's Mills. They're all Boland's Mills. They did keep a few of them, but they knocked down the rest of them to make way for new builds. And they're all belong to Google. Google Dock, Silicon Dock. So the economy here in Ireland is doing very, very well. As I showed you, in the Dublin Docklands, you have all the financial institutions and you have pharmaceuticals and so forth. All the big players of the world are all here. And then also you have the big tech companies of Facebook and Google, Twitter, LinkedIn. All the main players are all here. Their European headquarters are all here. So for that reason, the economy, especially in these three sectors, which make up 25% of the whole national economy, which makes Ireland one of the richest countries today in the world, which is hard to believe. 30 years ago, Ireland was a developing country. No one migrated here. There was no jobs here. People emigrated. But today, people are migrating. So there's a surplus of migration to immigration now for the first time in Irish history. The Irish economy during the COVID years, during the pandemic, it grew 3.4%. When most economies of the world declined, our economy grew by 3.4%, even bigger than China at 2.3%. Educational system here, the high school educational system, if you like, ranks number 6 in the world. At one time it was number 2 in the 1970s. It's all run by the religious orders. Most of them were at one time. There's less of them now, but still a lot of them are still run by the religious orders. So the education is the one thing about them. They are good educators. I got to give them that. Number 6 in the world as regards education. The largest foreign direct investment is here in Ireland, 54 billion, which ranks number 1 in Europe, beating out the UK at 51 billion, which is quite incredible, folks. It's one of the lowest corporate tax rates in Europe at 12.5%. This is the reason what attracted all these companies to come here in the first place. Also, we're English speaking and so forth as well. So attracted all the American companies, Australian companies and what have you. And it's the reason for the growth, if you like, in the first place. But we have the number 1 retention rate in the world for companies that relocate to a different country and stay. So they're very, very happy here with the Irish people and with the Irish government and with Irish business and what have you. And that's why we got the number 1 retention rate in the world for attracting and retaining investment from corporates throughout the world. There's also a great pool of people for them to choose from here in Ireland because we are the youngest population in Europe. 1/3 of the population is under the age of 25 and nearly half under 34. 18.5% of the whole workforce are foreign. So it's something like 500,000 people living here in a small country of less than 6 million people are foreign people. So it's one of the most diverse nations in the world as regards per head of population. And per head of population, it may be the most diverse. When you think less than 6 million people, 500,000 are foreign, 18.5% of the whole workforce. The Boland's Mills was a great old factory, great old manufacturing Mills company, and it closed down in 1981. But it was around for nearly 200 years. Bought over by Google. But I guess the buildings were laying idle, so something had to be done with them. This is Waterways Ireland. They look after this building right here. They look after all the canals and rivers and lakes and what have you throughout Ireland. Waterways Ireland. And I say the #1 destination for it. They even have Google on this street as well. And this isn't the main street that they're on. As you can see up there a little further, you got Google there too. Because it's that street over there, across the canal there. These boats, you wouldn't get a smell of one of these boats. You'd have to wait for someone to die to get one of these boats here in this canal. And even then, it might be handed down to a family member. I say rent is extremely, extremely high in Dublin. Can someone say something in the chat, because I can't see nothing. The last one was by Cynthia a long time ago. That dog is barking at me, is he? Yeah, the rent here in Dublin is extremely high. Now, people are paid very, very well, but a huge proportion of their wages, of their salaries, goes on rent. Any of these regular apartments that you see, they're going for, hey, how you doing, Rebecca? Okay, great. Bev, thank you. So there is some people still on. Very interesting. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Now, as I say, all the details I had of my channel, of Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal and all that, was on the scheduled tour, which I thought I had scheduled it for 3:30. Somehow now it's coming out as 4:30, and I don't know why. Anyway, I'm not doing the one at 4:30. So if you want to go into my channel, you'll find all the, if you do want to leave me Buy Me a Coffee or whatever, or PayPal, you'll find all my credentials on my channel. And you'll see that. So Dave Kavanagh. I don't know if anybody can put the channel in there, if they know how to do it or whatever. But here the talking, yeah. So if you wish. Also, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Really appreciate it. I don't know if anybody knows how to put the link in to this. I had it in the description on the other tour. If you want to look at the other tour, folks, that I had scheduled, well, I thought it was this one that was scheduled. The other one was scheduled for 4:30. I have to try and go somewhere and cancel that, because it was 3:30 when it was supposed to happen. It's even changed on me for the tour for tonight as well. I'm doing a tour tonight, folks, at 7:10, so Irish time, 7:10 p.m. I think in America that will be, in North America, in the East Coast would be 2:10, 10 past 2, 10 past 7 is what time it's on. So we're going to Darky Kelly's for some live Irish music, folks. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. We're going to go see the Irish Celts at Darky Kelly's. Darky Kelly's is Dublin's bar of the year for 2019 and 2022. Now, most of them were all shut down in 20 and 21, so you might as well say for 4 years in a row. So, #1 bar. So we're going to listen to some great Irish traditional folk and ballad music. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope you can join us for that. And that's the tour for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. Also, tomorrow I'm doing a tour as well of Grafton Street, Dublin's most fashionable street. There's lots of great stories on that tour. We're going to be visiting a lot of the... as soon as this tour finishes, the sun's starting to come out. Blue skies are coming out. Well, it's a good sign for if I was doing this tour later. So I hope you can join me for that, folks. 10 past 7 tonight. Irish traditional folk and ballad music. The Irish Celts, they're a brilliant, brilliant group. It'll be a lot of fun. Starting at 10 past 7 this evening in Darky Kelly's, an award-winning music pub. And we hope to see you there. This is wonderful. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you. Rebecca, thank you. I'm on a cell phone and can't figure out how to add your page info. Sorry. No problem. Look, I'll tell you what, just go to YouTube, put my name in, Dave Kavanagh. I'll put, do I have a card here, just so you can spell my name correctly. A lot of Americans put U in Kavanagh, but there's no U in Kavanagh in Ireland. The original, I think they added a U when people went to America. But the right way to spell Kavanagh is right there, Dave Kavanagh. Just go onto YouTube, put in Dave Kavanagh. I should have 737 followers or subscribers. So if you see any other Dave Kavanaghs, ignore them. Just the one that has 737 subscribers, that's me. And you'll see all my other videos on there if you wish to watch some of the other videos. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Lona Princess. Thank you so much, everybody. If I can see all the chat. To share your info. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Sorry, Rebecca. Anyway, I'm just telling for everybody else, if they want to look, they can go onto my YouTube channel. It's under Dave Kavanagh. At Dave Kavanagh. And you'll see all my tours. I think I got 122 tours or something on there. But I need to try and get to that 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 737. So hopefully, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. If you have, don't press on the subscribe button, otherwise you'll unsubscribe from me if you'd already subscribed. So be careful as regards that. Folks, that's all I got for you. Have a great, no, actually, you know what, I'm going to cross the road because I'm going to show you the view of, the Grand Canal from a different angle, just real quick while we're still on here. There's a nice view right there. That's a nice postcard photograph. But I want to go across the road, it's even more spectacular. I'm running. I'm not just getting my walk in, I'm getting me jog in as well. Alrighty. It's hard to cross the road, folks. Just show you this view before we leave. Thank you so much, everybody that came on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Natalie. We are running with you, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Cynthia's at the putting the link in there. Thank you so much. And you'll find somewhere on there where you can buy me a coffee if you wish to. It'd really help out a lot. Appreciate that. And folks, I hope to see you tonight at Darky Kelly's at 7:10 this evening. Have a great day, folks. Thank you so much. Slán leat agus greibhil míon maith agat. Irish language means goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. Have a great day.